fuck it moments. So that's
channeling
been big for
your
me.
energies.
Yeah, you have to. You can't just let the energy go. It sucks.
Yeah. So speaking of that, do you have like any practices to stay fresh and creative in the studio?
You know what? Yeah, actually, as of recently, I've been really focused on actually trying to enjoy things outside of music. I know that sounds ridiculous, but I gotta say that like watching UFC or watching documentaries or playing chess has inspired me creatively. Wait, yeah, did I spell that right? Creatively, Jesus. Moses,
you could just say it again if you want.
Creatively. But, that's inspired me a lot more than just like, listening constantly. It's been really good for me to actually just really kind of draw inspiration from life again, and kind of letting this ego go that everybody has to know that, like, it's kind of like what I'm working on in therapy right now. It's like, it's like, kind of drawing inspiration from outside activity. Cause I would just like burn myself out. I would like just straight up be listening to records constantly. And like, you have to,
I think that's what people do at the beginning. Like, I feel like everybody who gets into this thing at the beginning, they're just like always listening, always doing, always working, always on YouTube.
No, you have to, like the first, I'd say at least 5 years of your real career, you need to be listening and consuming as much as you fucking can to educate yourself. But once you're at a point like where, you're not in fight or flight mode, where like your business is running, everything is, pretty Gucci, and like you do have some time, you kind of realize, like, at least for me, I kind of realized how much of my personal life I wasn't really focusing on. Like, I was putting in like 12 or 14 hours every single day. But I'd be having panic attacks, like, a couple times a month or whatever. And you really, once you're at a point, it's hard to build a business. It's even harder to build a business in the music industry,
Yeah.
And I'm not just talking about like getting a cut, like getting one credit and that's it. I'm talking about like making sure you're relevant so you can get more. That's a hard thing to do. And if you're able to do that, you kind of realize like, yo, I got to focus on my health. Like for me, my biggest challenge right now is like, I'm trying to work out every day and stay to a consistent diet and meditate 10 minutes a day. That's actually been like the biggest challenge I've ever had in my life.
Every single day.
Yeah. Well, I try to take off weekends, like within reason, but like have an active, healthy lifestyle. That's a real challenge for me. Cause I'm such a workaholic.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
my wife and I have been working out during quarantine, and like now for like a week and a half, we haven't done anything. And we're like, oh no, how are we going to get back on this? And we're just kind of like, once you start to slip, you really slip.
Yeah. Like
it's hard.
My girlfriend, she's super inspirational to me because like, we've basically kind of been cooping up together for the majority of quarantine. Sometimes I'll go back to my apartment, just like work in the studio. She lives more out in the suburbs, so, it's kind of a generally safer area. It's like a little bit more spread out. Yeah, I mean, she works out like diligently. She has a pretty healthy diet. Sometimes she caves and like buys gummy bears, but that's about it. Like,
that's not bad, man.
Yeah, that's not bad. Versus me, I'll have like, fucking pint of ice cream and just I'll order like marinated duck from Wanfu or something. Like, let's go. Anyways, but yeah, that's actually been like really cool, and trying to like actually back away from being
head in the game all the time.
Yeah, because it becomes a problem after a while. Because when you're that obsessed constantly, you actually stop enjoying it. And so you have to...
That's the burnout stage.
Yeah. So you kind of also have to fight from burnout, because that's a thing. Like, burnout does happen to a lot of people. So you have to be conscientious of that.
Absolutely. So let's segue a little bit from going from all that stuff. Like, I know you run a pretty tight ship business-wise. Yeah. Like, can you tell us a bit about how you operate it, and also like how you've gone about building a team, and how did that all happen? And
so
who did you hire? How did that work?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, man. Oh God. So right now, There's a team of 4 people, including myself, me, Justin, Enoch, and Shelly. And occasionally I like hire out for specific things, but that's the main team right now for everything under that 90s Kid. So that's that 90s Kid, for those of you listening, that's like the main music group. Underneath that, I have my production and artist development. We have that pitch. We also have the publishing, and then I'm actually launching a couple new things within the next 2 months. So that'll also be under there. But basically, so the first thing that happened is I just posted a bunch of what I was doing always. And this dude kept reaching out to me on Instagram. And you have people constantly hit you up. If you're active in any way, shape, or form, you'll have people hit you up, asking to intern or asking to hang out or just learn or, can we get on a call? I'd love to just, or be a fly in the room or whatever. Studios hear that all the time. And for me, I was like, I'm not going to take on help unless I can at least kind of pay somebody. Because I don't want to pay a payless intern because I've been there and it's not fun.
Yeah.
And I just like an ethical perspective, like I
feel like you're going to owe them something that you can't even give them.
Yeah. Well, it's not even like, it's not even that. It's like, I don't want to waste somebody's time. I want to make sure it's worth it for them. But at the same time, I want to know they're as committed as me. And like, I would always have like a coffee budget. When I first moved back, I put a certain amount of money put aside, and I would hit up people and take them out for coffee and just, or pay for their time.
Move.
Yeah, it's totally. Like the best return on investment is paying for somebody's coffee, 1,000%.
Absolutely.
Like I've literally made thousands of dollars off of a $5 cup of coffee in the long term. Like, not saying like to use people or anything like that, but like there's some people that you will just not gain trust of unless like you really have a good chat with them first,
totally.
And you may not be able to work with for like the first 3 years of you guys being, in touch. So Justin reached out on Instagram and, he just kept asking like, hey man, like I'd love to pay for your coffee. I'd love to pay for your time or whatever. I'm really trying to, do this thing. And I didn't know of anybody in Charlotte doing it. And I see you doing it. So I'd love to, pay for your meal or whatever. And I was like, shit, like I'll take a free meal and talk about myself. Like, well, why not? And so we ended up meeting up. I paid for my coffee and we just talked shop and told him about everything I was doing. He was super into it and he was like, okay, what would be the best advice you have for me? And I was like, honestly, bro, drop out of college. And he was like, really? And I was like, yeah, you should not be getting a percussion major at a school that's not really even known for music. I think it's a waste of money. He called me up a week later. He dropped out.
Wow.
I was just like, holy fuck. Like that's ballsy. He's a badass, man. Like he's a badass. And, that day I was like, all right, come over. And so I started training him on a bunch of softwares I use for like organizing projects, not even music stuff. Like it was back end shit. It was like, hey, this is how we bill people. This is how, this is what I need you to do. And I was like, I told him, I was like, well, even before that, I was like, listen, I'm not going to have you as a payless intern. I'm going to pay you something. First day I gave him $100, I was just like, let's go. And I was like, I want to make sure that I can help you a lot. This is not just for me. I don't want to waste your time. You're not a slave to me or anything like that. How can I best help you? And he was like, and this was dope. This was the coolest shit Justin's ever said. He was like, the best way that you can help me is by letting me help you. And I was like, damn. So I put him on a lot of administrative work that I desperately needed help with. And, I basically said, listen, any education is on the house. If you want a course, if you want books, whatever, I'll buy it. Everything I got is yours. You good. And, over the course of a couple of years, now he's basically, he is full time under me, he helps me with, right now his technical title, is basically like management essentially or like, you know, chief of operations, if you really want to get technical and official, even though there's 4 of us. But he basically, you know, runs all the operations for everything and makes sure that everybody knows what they need to be doing. And if there's a problem, they'll reach out to him and he puts out the fire, and I can focus on growing stuff. He also, you know, assists me on a lot of production. He's an incredible producer in his own right. He's an awesome pop producer. So about maybe like 6 months ago or something, we desperately needed work with administrative stuff. And I basically put out something online on Upwork, and we hired Shelly, and she handles a bunch of copyright transfer stuff for us, a bunch of like just a crazy amount of administrative work for like organizing song files. And and then Enoch, actually, he's the newest one. He came on he was actually a client of mine for probably well over a year, and he made an offer, and he was like, hey man, like, what would it take for me to work for you? And so we figured out something, and he's head of A&R now. And he's handling a lot of stuff with individual artists and producers, like all of the producers on that pitch he's responding to and helping with. And yeah, we got like a pretty tight little lean operation, man. I don't really want to hire a big company. I think long term, I want like 2 people full time, and then a bunch of virtual assistants under that. And I think we could run like a really great thing and help out a lot of people. I don't want like a multi-million-dollar company or anything like that. I just want all of us to be pretty comfy and help a lot of people and make sure things are ethically done well, and kind of change some stuff in the industry. Does that make sense? Yeah. Sorry if I ranted totally. Like crazy, but hiring's weird, dude.
Yeah. Totally. That's amazing. And like in terms of like your productions, like do you do mixing and like mastering? Do you send out? How does that work for you?
So it all depends, man. We're trying to streamline a little bit with, you know, kind of monetarily what people are working with, like what funds they've allotted to each project. But, you know, as of right now, if there isn't a mixing budget or mastering budget, we'll do that in-house. If there is a separate one, we always hire Black Pearl Studios, my buddy Kevin McCloskey and Danny Hurley. And then Liam Quinn is also working with them now. And, you know, Kevin, like he's done stuff for DaBaby, Chance the Rapper, J. Cole, all of Dreamville. I mean, he just did the last release that Juice WRLD put out. He's awesome, man. He's a great guy. So yeah, I'll hire him if the funds allow for it. And I think moving forward, they'll actually be doing 100%. Because he's just
really,
he's just better at it. He's so much better at it, and he's just fantastic to work for. I could not recommend working with them enough. You know, Black Pearl Studios, Kevin McCloskey, total shout out. Like, they are an absolute dream to work with. Yeah. Like, I found my guy. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. That's amazing. It's great that you have the, you know, the ability, or I guess it's like a lack of ego to like not want to do everything and kind of like be happy to like hire whoever the best person is for the job to do it, you know?
Yeah, I think they just add a lot more value to artists than I could. Like, for a mix, they'll do it faster and they'll do it way better, and they're more forgiving for revisions. Like, they enjoy that. Like, find people who enjoy doing what you don't enjoy doing, and it is a powerful thing. Like,
yes.
Like, I am not organized. I suck at putting out fires, but I'm like, the one thing I think I really got going for me is like, I'm really good at like actually implementing an idea. So Justin handles all the fires and puts all that shit out. I think I'm really good at talking to people, but not at scale because I'm too emotionally invested with like, you know, so Enoch's really great at that, and I'm not organized at all. So Shelly can do all of that.
That's amazing.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Dude, lots of things we've covered. Do you want to put in a little pitch for that pitch, maybe?
Yeah, man. So that pitch is for producers. Basically, we have a bunch of sync licensing opportunities, a bunch of opportunities to land songs with artists, and each of these pay out like real money. They can range from $250 to thousands of dollars. We do a annual basically representation fee, so you pay a flat fee to that pitch for the year, and anything that you land, you keep 100% of. So we don't take anything.